Supermarkets offer a variety of differently bred chickens, farmhouse, barn-reared and free-range, just like the eggs we looked at last week. The image we're sold is of birds clucking around the farmyard like this. On a slope of a hill in Wiltshire, a flock of contented chickens. They're sheltered from the wind in cosy barns with plenty of warm straw and can wander as they please in the open air. These free-range birds come here as day-old chicks and develop naturally, with plenty of space inside also to move about. They're produced by Richard Guy and his wife Gilly, who set up the Real Meat Company.
We're basically connecting farmers who want to farm properly with customers who are prepared to appreciate that and pay the premium necessary to grow in this old-fashioned way.
And I think we ourselves don't eat intensively produced chickens or other people's chickens. We want to know how the chicken that we're eating is produced.
Richard Guy also wanted to know who supplied the major supermarkets with their free-range chickens, but doubted they would tell him. So he wrote to the leading chains, posing as 14-year-old Susan Brown, who asked to visit one of their farms with her mother. Tesco, Sainsbury's, Safeway and Marks & Spencer all said no to a visit. Waitrose wrote, "Unfortunately, we are unable to supply details of farms you might visit to see these systems in action because it's confidential to our business, and in any event, the suppliers are in Northern Ireland." Richard Guy asked us to see if we could do any better, so we contacted the big chains. Safeway, Sainsbury and Marks & Spencer all said no, they wouldn't give us the name of their chicken suppliers. Tesco said it couldn't give out any names and addresses, but we could accompany them on a visit to their farm. Waitrose did give us the name of their supplier, Moy Park in Northern Ireland, who run 180 farms. These are two of Moy Park's free-range chicken sheds. 3,000 birds live inside each of them. They do have access to a field outside. But this is hardly what most people think of as a small farm, which is where Waitrose described these chickens as coming from. Interestingly, Moy Park supplies not just Waitrose, it's the main UK producer of all free-range birds to supermarkets. This is their heritage chicken, not 3,000 but 5,000 birds in this unit. Safeway, who are also supplied by Moy Park, are very clear about the lovely life of their heritage chicken. It has its own free-range charter, for goodness sake. This again assures the customer the birds are reared on selected small farms. The important thing to remember is that any reference to small farms is pretty meaningless. But of course the farms themselves aren't to blame. It's all to do with the marketing. For example, look at this chicken. It's not free range, but Waitrose label it farmhouse and tell us it's produced on straw-based bedding in spacious barns with sides which open to give natural light and ventilation. Now take a look at the reality. 12,000 birds live in here and are never allowed out until their final journey to the supermarket shelf. These all went the next day. Supermarkets offer a variety of differently bred chickens, farmhouse, barn-reared and free-range, just like the eggs we looked at last week. The image we're sold is of birds clucking around the farmyard like this.
coming through as well. That'll soon be in third place. So it's to Hui Tu from Houlihan's Free, who's in second, followed by Hullabaloo. Bobble is back in fourth place, and they're clear then of Pumpkin Pickle, Swift Water, Crafty Glen, who's dropped out of it, and then comes Just Gabby. It's to Hui Tu, though, as Houlihan's Free begins to hang right and isn't finding anything at all, and to Hui Tu is striding on in great style here. Hullabaloo is going to tackle Houlihan's Free, who seems to be floundering in this softer ground, and to Hui Tu is running on, looking pretty green out in front here, but she's certainly not going to be caught. Mick Fitzgerald looks over his shoulder, and to Hui Tu confirms the promise of that Uttoxeter debut by beating Hullabaloo, who looks an embryo chaser. In third place then was Houlihan's Free and Pumpkin Pickle.
Have to do, but where's the bit of just feeding the chickens?
Well, it's every
where's
day,
the bit
but
of just mowing the grass,
remember it, it's
baling hay?
Vanilla Ice apparently is down to collect the chickens' eggs tomorrow, and God help them when he puts his hand under their bottoms to get the eggs.
Well,
anyway.
I just think it's important to make the point. It's not just the RSPCA concerned here. We've had members of the public complaining. We've
Four.
had
Now, come on, you've had four calls to Channel 5, but how many to Ofcom? 103 to Ofcom. That is quite a lot, actually, isn't it?
And we've had Pawsey, the Professional Animal Welfare Standards Institute, the Performing Animal Welfare Standards International, which is the body that sets standards for performing animals. They've actually written today to Ofcom to support our concerns.
I find it bizarre, though, that the main complaints is about the welfare of the animals and not about the sheer sort of titillating aspect of exposing viewers who, you know, and including kids, I know it's on quite late at night, to watching that kind of thing. It seems to me we've got our standards all...
But this is part of the food process. That's what I like about it. It lifts the lid off what's going on every day. The only sad bit for me is that it's best practice. I wish they could do, I'm a factory farmer, get me out of here, but we all know why that isn't going to happen.
I feel sorry for the pig. He's got to learn to text and wear a sarong.
And I think we should be where it happens in other reality shows, so it's a bigger story.
Yes, we understand that. All right, thank you all very much indeed. Thanks a lot for coming in and contributing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now more news.